I like to learn all my letters. Because there is school and fun. I know my numbers right there. She teaches me a lot.
What is your favorite thing she's taught you?
I always listen to her.
I've only recently met him because he just became my form tutor for my new year. But I really like him because he's creative and he thinks outside the box.
I think he's very deserving of this award because he's very hardworking and he keeps a positive attitude, even if the students are having a bad day.
For me, I'm definitely a creative learner and stuff, so that really helps me with my creative thinking process, and it just really helps the lessons flow a lot faster, and it makes the time go by while you're still learning.
If we don't understand something, she's gonna break it down in simple ways to make us understand. And she helps us with our homework, and if we need extra time to do any work, she'll go through it with us so we can understand it. She's very devoted to her job.
Her sense of humor. Like, she's our teacher, and our mom, and our friend at the same time.
Miss Clark is the most generous person I ever met. She makes me smile. She is unique, wonderful person. She makes my day much better. She understands me. She knows what I'm going through, and she always makes me feel like I'm
The thing that makes Miss Allison a great teacher is that she's also creative, but last year when we had some trouble with our work, she would make it easier us to understand.
Makes Miss Allison a good teacher is she is creative, she is awesome, she makes do fun activities, and she pushes us so we can learn it.
One thing you can really distinguish between Miss Stewart and other teachers is that she shows that she's a human. You know, when she gives you advice, and it's only coming from experience, it's not like just made up stuff that she just thinks of to get you to do what she wants. It's because she knows what she's telling you is going to benefit you.
Excited. It finally recognizes how much of a good teacher she is. Ooh. Is she too good to, I don't know, she's like an amazing teacher, to be honest.
Very, very inspiring. She always seems to just have so much fun things going on within the classroom. She's always very calm. I never hear her raise her voice. The children that she teaches are very enthusiastic of what they're doing, so they'll come and say, "We've done this today and we've done that today," which is fantastic.
Miss Claire was my favorite because I love her.
And why do you love her?
Because I don't know.
What is your favorite thing about Miss Claire?
Dinosaurs. I love her because I love her. Her helps me all the time.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2019 Golden Apple Awards for Excellence in Training. What a lovely way to start tonight's ceremonies, seeing some of our teachers in action and actually hearing from their students. And thank you to Compass Media for visiting some of our nominees.
And I want to mention that I'm standing next to a 2018 recipient, award winner. Let's give Shakina a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Tonight on World Teachers' Day, we recognise 12 outstanding educators from the incredible work they do in our community. Before we do that, I just want to welcome the Honourable Juliana O'Connor-Connolly, Chief Officer Santona Cacho, the Deputy Chief Officer Joel Francis, Deputy Chief Officer Lynette Monteith, Director of Department of Education Tammy Hopkins, Chamber President Mr. Chris O'Connell, President-elect Woody Foster, Vice President Mike Gibbs, who gives his apologies this evening, immediate past President Paul Biles, Chamber CEO Will Penner, and principals, teachers, and other honoured guests. Welcome, everybody. Assisting us tonight, I'd like to introduce the Miss Cayman Universe runner-up. Please give a big round of applause to Mariah Tibbetts.
It is our privilege to introduce our first speaker of the evening, Mr. Chris Kirkconnell, President of the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce.
Please welcome Chris Kirkconnell.
Thank you and welcome to the 2019 Golden Apple Awards. Looking through the crowd, there are quite a few faces that I know I grew up with that I see are now teachers. Thank you all for the service that you were putting towards the youth of today. Looking through, I also see teachers that were teachers of mine almost 25 years ago, and I promise I won't embarrass you by naming anyone Glenn Hewell. Tonight we're here for the 7th Golden Apple Awards for Excellence in Teaching, celebrating and honoring teachers in our community who have made a significant impact on their students. Education is a process that touches all of us through our lifetime, whether formal or informal. We're always learning and growing, both as individuals and together as a community. Tonight we're here to pay tribute to the educators who go above and beyond the traditional sense of education and use their influence to teach more than just curriculum. Those who promote moral values, ethical values, positive experiences, attitudes of helping and giving back to society, those that truly make a difference. Most of our audience tonight are teachers, educators, or administrators in education. But at some point, everyone in this room was a teacher or was a student themselves. We all remember those teachers that touched our lives in that special way. This is the real reason why we're here tonight. Becoming a teacher is not just a career path, a career choice. It is not a job. It truly is a calling. A calling that often goes fairly unappreciated. And we want you to know that even though there is another event, I can't remember the name of it, somewhere down the street wearing pink ties, I think, this is really the most important event that's happening this weekend. For the Chamber, we put a great importance on education for this reason. To make a positive difference in our community, especially through our advocacy programs such as Mentoring Cayman, the Summer Youth Work Experience, and we aim to provide positive experiences that inspire that next generation to pursue their passions and hope that some of them will become teachers like Elroy, Satonia, and other winners that are here tonight. But it doesn't end there. We also encourage the local businesses to become involved to make sure that we are giving education the support that it truly needs. And as the Chamber, we plan to keep reaching out to see what we can do to make sure that the importance is stressed through the entire community. Education serves as the key to economic and social development for our islands. What our children are learning to school today will determine where we go as a country and how successful we will be for the future. To the teachers here tonight, congratulations to each and every one of you on your accomplishments. We want to thank you for the amazing work that you do, and on behalf of the Chamber Council, staff, and members, I'd like to congratulate you on your nomination. We hope that you have an enjoyable evening. And to each of you that was nominated, we know that you have definitely made that special and extra difference in a lot of lives. Whether you win or not, it is our absolute honor to have you here tonight to celebrate you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, President Kirkconnell.
Tonight's awards are a partnership between the Chamber of Commerce and the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands. A long-time partner, the Ministry has been involved in the awards since its inauguration in 2007.
But the relationship between the Chamber and the Ministry goes beyond just the Golden Apple Awards. The Ministry also supports numerous educational initiatives run by the Chamber, such as Mentoring Cayman.
It is great to see such a high turnout for the Ministry here tonight in support of our educators. It is my pleasure to now introduce the Honourable Juliana O'Connor-Connolly to say a few words on behalf of the Ministry.
Thank you and good evening. Protocol already have been duly established. I want to say how delighted I am to be here. And those of you who know me, weekends are for Kim and Brock. And Saturday being part of the weekend for me to be here just symbolizes how much importance I put on events such as this. It's also a distinct honor to have partnered once again with the Chamber of Commerce for this very auspicious occasion. Now, apples have been long associated with wisdom and with teachers, whether you want the Genesis to be from the book of Genesis with Adam and Eve, seeking and having that thirst for that golden apple or whatever that wonderful wisdom fruit was. I leave that to your imagination. Or whether it was way back in the 1700s when Denmark and Sweden used apples as a remuneration package to pay their teachers, or whether it was back in the United States and the early settlers when the farmers used their children to take apples to schools to help out and alleviate some of the financial hardships that the teachers endured, because back in those days in the United States early educational development, you see farmers usually housed and were responsible for teachers. Not quite sure whether we've digressed or succeeded with that, because most teachers these days in our jurisdiction have to pay their own accommodation and go to what is Foster's and Hurley's supermarket. So it's good when private sector and government can come together to bring the value of teachers much higher up on that value totem pole. As I commenced this journey of educational development here in Cayman, when the Honourable Premier asked me to take education, having been a former teacher myself, I thought, this is the time is now. Because as Chris said, without teachers, where would the rest of us have been? You know, for 8 hours, approximately 1/3, 33.3%, that infinitum number, 3.3, continuous. We entrust our children, our most precious possessions and assets, with our teachers. And long have gone the days when teachers are mere babysitters. And we can testify to that fact just by looking at the diversity of occupational professionals here in this room tonight. Had it not been for teachers somewhere along our lives, we would not have been able to succeed. And most of us came up in the era where we did not have the benefit of Google or internet. We had that blackboard and we had that teacher, but I can assure you that we would have an encyclopedia volume if we were to consolidate the stories and the experience that that one teacher had on our lives. And we want to salute our teachers tonight. And I would ask for all of the teachers in the house, if you just stand about this time so that we can, through an applaud, tell you how grateful we are for you here in Cayman. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may be seated. And as I sat there and I looked, Will and Chris, for the apple, I wondered whether you were going to bring baskets of fresh apples tonight. But I was perhaps just as pleased, or more so pleased, to see that the awards our form of apples have been made from Caymanite. And I thought, you know, perhaps that is the best symbol that we could use in this Cayman jurisdiction, because our teachers rock. And not only does our teachers rock, but they are equally as polished, and they can stand head and shoulders of any teacher in any jurisdiction, because in Cayman, we've been so blessed with welcome and open arms to welcome teachers from across the world to come into this little country, island nation, to make it your jurisdiction of choice. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to come here. And I'm so grateful that there is no separation, there are no walls. We're in the business of building bridges for the one common benefit of educating this world stage and making it a better place than what we found it. So as we go on with this wonderful occasion, I want next year for Will and Chris, or the incoming president, to have that problem of finding a bigger room, because there are many more teachers out there that are unsung heroes. And perhaps, and you would know me, I ask for quite a bit. I think it's time, after having so much success, Will and Chris, that we also include the University College of the Cayman Islands, ICCI, St. Matthew University, because we are not one of those third world countries. We always lead in everything we do with the help of those from outside and those who have been the pioneers here in this country. And so long have gone the days when we could be satisfied with just a teen and a secondary education. But we have to move into the realm of tertiary education. And I'm pushing, even with our education department or education secretariat, let's get the funding in the budget in so that we can fund our master's program, our doctorate programs, and we can only do it when we have the best possible teachers all across the educational social stratification. Obama said, yes, we can. And sometimes we can borrow phrases because it bears repeating. In the Cayman Islands, yes, we can. And if we haven't yet, let's take that attitudinal change. With education, well, no matter what budget they give you, Juliana, no matter what budget I'll get in a few weeks' time, I am still taking that positive attitude that not yet means that I have determined and I've committed that education is going to be a continuous verb where we're going to be in constant pursuit of excellence. So together we can, but unless we value, promote, and award our teachers, yet we'll be a little bit further down the road. So come on with this journey. We are on a journey, and we do not have an option to quit. We will succeed, and when we succeed, your businesses succeed, your children succeed, and events like this is just a little bit of that iron that's going to sharpen the iron to make Cayman level the playing field, and the world take note that something wonderful continues to happen in this jurisdiction. I thank you for this privilege to so address you.
Thank you, Minister O'Connor Connolly.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we are all here tonight is to honour some of Cayman's most recognised teachers. The teachers here tonight have been nominated by students, parents and colleagues for their exceptional work.
Yes, an incredible achievement in and of itself. So let's begin with our first award of the evening. Like our students, we will begin with our primary school categories. Our first award of the evening recognizes our outstanding primary school teachers in our public school systems.
To present the award for the primary school teachers in a public school, please welcome someone who understands firsthand the level of commitment our educators undertake in their profession. Please welcome Mr. Shamari Scott, Director of Marketing for Health City Cayman Islands, tonight's primary school public category sponsor.
Protocol having been established, it's my privilege to present the award for a primary school teacher in public school on behalf of Health City, Cayman Islands. Teachers are the spark plug that ignite young minds to boundless possibilities. We all have at least that one special teacher that inspired us to leap to unthinkable heights. Primary school teachers play a vital role in developing a child's intellect and habits, as primary school is the first time that most children are strictly in an educational environment. It can be a difficult task at times, but it's also the most rewarding. I'd like to congratulate tonight's category finalists, Mrs. Erica Powell of Savannah Primary School, and Mrs. Nadisha Nayathi of Bordentown Primary School. For all the hard work they do in the classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause again for Mrs. Powell and Mrs. Nayathi as they join me on stage to collect their finalist award.
The experiences that I've had throughout my childhood years are what motivated me to become a teacher. At a very young age, I can recall writing letters for my grandfather, and I remember asking him one day, I said, "Grandpa, why do I always have to write your letters?" And his words to me were, "I'm preparing you for the future. One day you will become an educator." And it didn't stop there. During my primary and secondary years, I was given numerous leadership responsibilities, being a prefect. I remember marking test papers with teachers, doing mini lessons, conducting devotions, and the list goes on. And I fell in love with those things, and I said, I think this is for me. This is definitely where I want to be. And those are the things that propelled me into teaching. To an inspiring educator, I say to you, when you do become an educator, connect with your parents, connect with your students. Don't just prepare students for exams, prepare them for life. Create a learning environment that is conducive to learning, that is warm and friendly, where students just don't want to ever go home.
I've always wanted to be a teacher. All of my earliest memories are of me playing with dolls and mimicking the way my teachers spoke. It's funny because one of my earliest memories is my grandaunt. She had a burgundy tray that was like filled with perfumes, and I'd pretend that they were children. So I'd be moving them around and say, like, you have to sit here because this is going to help you focus better. So I've just always wanted to be a teacher, but I think as I got older, what truly motivated me was the idea that teachers get to wear many hats. And so you're not just facilitating knowledge, but you're also being a parent, you're also being a nurse. You get to be everything that a child needs at their phases of life. And so I remember thinking in such a fond way of my teachers and how they'd been so good to me and being exactly what I needed at the right time. And so that's what I wanted to do for other children, is to just be that model for them.
And let me try my best to not be Steve Harvey. And the Golden Apple Award goes to Miss Nadisha Edwards Nayathi, Bordentown Primary. Come on back up here. Round of applause again, please.
Wow, I was certainly not expecting this. My teaching career began on the 6th day of October in 2003. It was a bright and early Monday morning when I first entered a classroom as a pre-trained teacher. At the very first week, I knew there and then that I was on the right journey. I would like to thank God for giving me the opportunity to be able to touch lives daily. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce, Ministry of Education, and all the other organizers and sponsors for recognizing us educators in this fashion. Thank you to the parents and colleagues who nominated me for this prestigious award. I want to also thank the teachers who have made me what I am today. There are many exceptional educators here in the Cayman Islands, and to be presented with this award is truly a humbling experience. This award represents all the educators who have touched my life. It symbolizes all the schools that I've taught at. It signifies my family, colleagues, and principals who have shown their unwavering support over the past 16 years of my teaching career. This award also represents my students, both past and present. Without them, I would not have been able to use my gifts and talents daily. Educators, I want you to know that you are appreciated, and whether you were nominated or not, just know that you are the backbone of society. You have the greatest contribution to build up the characters of students and help them become ideal citizens. Continue to be the great educator that you are. Be innovative, persuade rather than coerce, live the vision, and continually reaffirm it. Let us continue to make our mark in society, for today we stand together with humility as educators with a purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Congratulations again to Ms. Nadisha Nayathi, the winner of the Primary School Public Award.
We will now recognize the teachers in the primary school private category.
To present the award for primary school teacher in a private school, please welcome Mr. Paul Biles, Director of FTS and past President of the Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening. And the winner of the anyway. Tonight's finalists for this award have proven themselves to be role models for their students, providing them with outstanding guidance in their first years of education. I'd like to congratulate tonight's category finalists, Ms. Kelly Cowling of Cayman Prep, and Ms. Allison Copeland of Cayman Academy. And I'll invite them to join me on stage to receive their honorary award.
Simply put, I think I was born to teach. When I was growing up, the list of things I wanted to do in life, it was endless. It went from me being a mother to me being a flight attendant, then to me being a chartered accountant, but I could not ignore how well I worked with children, how I felt comfortable. And I also could not ignore how when I hear a simple event, I can transform it into a mind-blowing story. So I guess wisdom took over, and I combined the two by choosing to be a teacher, where I enjoy working with the children and I wow them with beautiful stories.
When I left university with a degree in marketing, I went and worked in a school for children with severe social, emotional and mental health needs, and it was seeing the educators there, one of whom was my mum, seeing them teach and learn with these children who had come from such complex backgrounds and circumstances, and they put all of those things aside and looked beyond that to encourage the children to achieve and become the best possible versions of themselves that they could be, regardless of their background. And I just remember working there in the care team in a care home and being like, yeah, that is what I want to do. I want to go back to university, and I want to qualify, and I want to go and do that and help shape the minds of young children regardless of their backgrounds and circumstances.
You got a problem? I'm pleased to present the Golden Apple Award for primary school teacher in a private school to Miss Kelly Cowling of Cayman Prep.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you very much. I'm completely overwhelmed and a little bit petrified standing up in front of you all. You're, no offence, but you're a lot older than my usual target audience. I think you don't ever go into teaching imagining that you're really going to get any recognition for things, because I think you go into teaching because you're passionate about education and that you want to have a positive influence and inspire the minds of young children. And therefore it's such an honour to be receiving such a prestigious award today, and I'd just like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the Ministry of Education and everybody else who made this event even possible. I'd like to thank my school, Cayman Prep and High School, who have just been amazing and given me so many incredible opportunities. I work with such wonderful, dedicated staff who, many are here this evening, and they are fantastic, and they've welcomed me into their Cayman family, and they genuinely put the needs of the children at the forefront of everything they do, which makes them so incredible and such amazing educators as well. And finally, I'd just like to thank the parents and the students that I teach here in the Cayman Islands and throughout my career. They are incredibly supportive, and I wouldn't be able to do the job that I do without their support. They're amazing, and I think we share the core value that success isn't just an academic thing. It's about raising children who are resilient, strong, independent learners who are ready for the future. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again to Kelly Crowling, the winner of the Primary School Private Award. Let's hear a round of applause for all the primary school teachers honored here this evening.
We now graduate from primary and move on to our high school categories. In this category, we will recognise our educators who play an important part in moulding our children into young adults and preparing them for all the challenges that lie ahead in the real world.
And we are thankful for the additional resources that are out there to assist our students on preparing for third level and prospective careers. DARTS initiatives, including DART Scholar and STEM programs like Minds Inspired, play a crucial role in preparing our young for the future.
To present the category award for high school teachers in a public school, please welcome Ms. Pilar Bush, Executive Vice President, Marketing and Communications with DART.
Good evening, everyone. Although protocol has been established, I'd like to acknowledge the Minister of Education, a former teacher and President of the Chamber, Mr. Chris Kirkconnell, and to all of you. I think this is a fantastic event and something that we should make sure that we do as often as possible to recognize teachers. I have the privilege of sharing a little bit with you tonight about what makes high school teachers outstanding. And as I age, I'm going to put on the glasses. All teachers, but high school teachers in particular, are those outstanding men and women who show up each day, positive and engaging, fully aware of the responsibility they have to help shape young minds despite raging hormones, attitude, moodiness, and maybe a little BO. High school teachers are outstanding men and women. They know that they have to spark the curiosity and they have to cultivate both confidence and competence that these teenagers are soon going to need as they transfer into young adulthood and on to either tertiary education or their careers. Yep, high school teachers are outstanding men and women. They're the innovative problem solvers and the resourceful Imagineers who will go to any length to help their students achieve their full potential. Tonight, we'd like to congratulate two finalists in this category, Ms. Carita Levermore-Stewart from John Gray High School and Ms. Dee Clark from the Cayman Islands Further Education Center for impacting the lives of high school students in such a positive manner. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Ms. Carita Levermore-Stewart and Ms. Dee Clark. Congratulations, ladies.
If I'm honest, I never thought about being a teacher when I was younger. I never really knew what I wanted to be. I had lots of ideas about being an actress, being an artist, a fashion designer, interior designer, graphic designer. I was interested in law, and I ended up carving a quite a successful and long career in finance, but there was always something missing for me, and I just knew that I wanted to do something that made a difference, that helped people. And while I figured it out and reevaluated my career, I got a job as an assistant teacher, and it was here that I really realised my calling, that I was drawn to students with special needs, those with behaviour issues, those that had had a difficult start in life and were struggling to cope, or had been subjected to some kind of trauma or neglect or abuse, and they were struggling and they had obstacles preventing them from learning, and it's those students I was really drawn to working with, and that's when I knew that I wanted to teach.
I started out learning that all my uncles and my aunt from my mother's side were all teachers. Well, to be honest, that went into my long term, the declarative, because in my mind I knew I wasn't going to become a teacher. But eventually I knew when I started teaching Sunday school. I used to make sure I have that theatrical property, that props as we would call it, to make sure my students know that, listen, I need you to understand what I'm teaching. My Sunday school superintendent said to me one day, you know what's happening to you, right? And I said, I know, don't say it. But there's a teacher inside of you. It drove home to me that this is really what I'm going to do eventually, after the love for children grew. And the fact that I knew I will impact their lives some way or another. Let them understand that the world needs you. The best book is yet to be written, because there is a Marlon in my class who's yet to write it. And I said to myself, you know, I think this is where I'm supposed to be.
I feel like Mr. John Clark at that table there. because whatever happens at that table, he's going to be a little disappointed and he's going to be very proud either way. Both finalists are winners and all of the finalists are winners. But tonight, I am pleased to announce that the high school teacher in a public school, the award goes to Ms. Carita Livermore.
Wow. Some 25 years ago, if you had asked me about my career path, the answer would have been serving the less fortunate, maybe with the United Nations or becoming a flight attendant. My passion has always been to serve. Fate would have it that serving after 15 years, still serving of course, in the classroom and administration, it's really overwhelming, it's awesome, and I really do appreciate my students and my colleagues. Now, these years have been enveloped in hard work, sweat and tears, filled with a plethora of learning experiences, both personally and professionally. And as it said, it started as a Sunday school teacher. I officially started teaching at Magoli High School. I knew I was only going to serve for 1 year there. Now, that 1 year became 2 years because I was determined to see that cohort sit the CSEC exam. I knew I had deposited something in these students, and I could not wait to let the principal know that this cohort is going to really do well and pass in the exam. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that year they did extremely well. For the first time in 5 years, they obtained high passes in CSEC. Now, that was true gratification. And later, I got my dream job. I was to become a flight attendant with Air Jamaica. But, of course, I didn't have to think long and hard. I stayed. Matthew 22, verse 13 says it best. Many are called, few are chosen. Now, this speaks volume when we think about the noble profession, the only profession that serves as a solace and conduit for all other professions. As we self-actualize teachers, remember, sí, vale la pena hacerlo. Vale la pena hacerlo bien. If a job is worth doing, it's worth doing well. And on that note, I'd like to say thanks to the greatest teacher, Jesus the Christ. It is interesting how he holds a cornucopia of skills, and he has made us teachers here tonight so adept as educators. And for that, I'm grateful because I answered the calling. To my parents, my siblings, my darling husband, Nigel, my kids, Leanne and Tahira, friends and well-wishers, thank you ever so much. I can't go back to my seat without saying this, so bear with me for a second. To my teachers, thanks for teaching the teacher. You're all a true inspiration. To my family away from home, my church family, my John Gray High School family, thanks for taking me under your wings. A stranger I was 5 years ago, knowing absolutely no one when I first arrived on island. I'm truly grateful to have met the best buddy, the most dedicated and devoted and caring set of ladies in the Spanish department. Thank you, ladies. Thanks to my leaders, brothers and sisters of the Wahoo Academy, my colleagues. None of this would have been possible without your endless encouragement, team spirit, and partnership. I am the recipient of this noble award, but, ladies and gentlemen, it's only a replica of what John Gray High School emits: excellence, world class. Thank you, John Gray. To the Chamber of Commerce and team who have spearheaded this awe-inspiring event, I accept this award. It's truly an honor. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to Karita Livermore Stewart, the winner of the high school public category. We will now turn our energy to the second high school category of the night, the award for high school teacher in a private school.
Speaking of energy, it is often said that teenagers sometimes could do with a boost of energy during their adolescent years. Perhaps our next category sponsor could help with that. Presenting our next award is category sponsor Richard Hugh, Director of Caribbean Utilities Company.
Thank you, Shakina and James. Protocol having been established, good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be here tonight to celebrate our esteemed educators and to present the award for high school teacher in a private school on behalf of Caribbean Utilities Company. At CUC, we're used to providing support to those in the community and developing talent, but the work we do pales in comparison to the tremendous work of our local teachers. High school is a stage in which students become young adults, and it is important that they receive the guidance needed to help choose their future path in life. Such is the standard of high school teachers in the Cayman Islands that this year we have 3 finalists in this category. Mr. Daniel Baker of Cayman Prep and High School. Mrs. Catherine Dilbert of Grace Christian Academy. And Mrs. Jennifer Artuk of St. Ignatius Catholic School. All of these educators have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and their enthusiastic teaching styles and close bonds with students have seen them recognized as 3 of the best teachers in the community in our private schools. Please welcome our awardees tonight.
Barely remember, but I was working in the private sector in the travel and tourism industry, and I just wanted to change the direction. Massively passionate about working in travel. I wanted to pass this on. You know, I'm still to this day really passionate about the travel and tourism industry. I was literally on the train home from work one day, opened up the paper and saw that I could train as a teacher, do a top-up PGCE. I already had a degree, and that was 13 years later, and I'm here. Still for me, the dream job, working in the Cayman Islands. Still got my dream job teaching business and travel and tourism. All the students that come into my classroom, you know, it's nice to engage with them on an individual basis, but like to see them, you know, realise their abilities and, you know, progress and exceed their own kind of a target. So they're going on that journey and getting the best out of the education system.
To be honest, I
have always wanted to be a teacher. So from the moment I can remember, I loved teaching. So if you were a friend of mine from elementary school, you would have remembered that when you came over to my house, you became a student and I was the teacher. I had a whole classroom set up in my basement, and my teachers growing up actually knew this, so they would give me anything that they didn't want anymore, anything they had duplicates of, and I would become so excited. I'd bring it home, I'd be like, Mom, look at all my stuff. Definitely when you are working with a student or a group of students and you know that they've come to you maybe feeling stressed or defeated, or they found the subject or the concept difficult, and after lots of encouragement and time working with them, you see that aha moment and you see that they get it and that they enjoy it. They actually said to me, Miss, thank you. Thank you for your help. I feel so much better as a writer. That definitely is a moment, and that actually this whole year I'll just never forget.
I first started teaching when I was in high school, just at a sailing camp. I really loved it, and the kids were tons of fun. And I kind of realized that I had a knack for describing, explaining, demonstrating, and organizing activities. And the club itself recognized that in me as well, and so I eventually was promoted to head instructor. And then it just seemed seamless to me to then, that really confirmed for me that I had some skill in this area, and that, by finishing my biology degree, it just made sense to go into education. When I was in education, I had an amazing mentor who really showed me, how to make a lesson effective, how to make it engaging for the students, how to link it with the outside world, particularly the environment, because I was in biology. And I still think about that now when I'm designing my own lessons, to try to make the students enthusiastic about the material, but link it to them, make it meaningful and enjoyable at the same time.
And the winner is Jennifer Archer.
Wow, what an amazing evening. I really didn't expect this. I just want to say thank you so much to the Ministry of Education and the Chamber of Commerce for putting on this evening and for recognizing the hard work that teachers do. It's really an honor to be here and to receive this award, especially on World Teacher Day. And so I really appreciate that. I'd like to say thank you as well to the sponsors for sponsoring the tables tonight so many of my colleagues could join me. I'd like to thank my colleagues, because without them, I wouldn't still grow as a teacher. Every day, they share ideas with me. They open their classroom and welcome others in to see what they're doing. And they are so supportive and encouraging to try new ideas. And so thank you to the St. Ignatius team for being so supportive of me and helping me to grow and improve in my own skills. And I'd like to thank our students and their parents. Our students are fantastic. They come to school enthusiastic. They get involved in so much around the school. They show the confidence not only to get involved, but in class to take risks. And they show the resilience when met with challenge. And so for that reason, I want to thank my students as well, because it is for them that I do this. And I can't imagine doing anything else. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I am here tonight as a dad, a father. And if you're a parent, then I hope you can connect with me. Because 3 years ago, my youngest son came to Jennifer. And he said, Miss Artuk, I got a D in biology. Can I do biology A-level? I'm emotional. She said, well, at school you need to get a B, but you got a D. Of course you can. So she took him under her wing, and he got a B at A-level. And tonight, my son is training to be an art teacher. So, on behalf of the parents, and if you're a grandparent, raise your hand. If you're a dad, raise your hand. If you're a mum, raise your hand. On behalf of the parents, to all of the people, we teachers make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Congratulations to Jennifer Artush, the winner of the High School Private Award. Let's hear a round of applause for all of the high school teachers honored here this evening.
Now, one place you don't really want to find yourself when you are a student, and sometimes even as a teacher, is in the principal's office. Our next award category is to honor our principals.
So let's dive right in for our next award category. To present the award for principal in a public or private school, please welcome Mr. T.J. O'Sullivan of Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited.
Thank you all so much. If we could first, once again, thank the Minister and the Chamber of Commerce for our time. And before we change categories, I'd like to thank all of the teachers and the educators here. Once again, if we could have a round of applause before we move over to the next category. I myself was raised by two educators, and one of my teachers growing up said, every time you speak to somebody, or every time you do a presentation, make sure you start with a quote. I'm 40 years old now, but I still live that to this day. So if I could take you guys back to one of my favorite novels by F. Scott Fitzgerald. In his opening line, he said, in my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. And what I think about when I hear that quote and what I think about is the people that have influenced my life. And the people that they are the educators. My parents, both being educators, influenced me more than I could ever imagine. And the other ones that did were the people that I sat and listened to every day in school. They were the ones that taught me and told me that I could be more, that I could grow, that I could develop myself, that anything was possible as long as I put my mind to it and studied. And I've listened to those words. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina and have constantly studied and used education to grow because of what those teachers taught me. They taught me to read the F. Scott Fitzgeralds. They taught me to read the Hemingways. And I appreciate everything that you people do, and I thank you so much for what you can contribute to our society. But as was mentioned before, we have the principals. These are our business leaders of our schools, the people that take all those educators and make sure that everybody is on the right track. We all look up to them. We all thank them for what they do. And sometimes they can take mayhem and take it into a way that makes us all see what the end goal is, what education is all about. I have the opportunity and the fortunate experience to work for a company that supports education, and we look for the opportunity to develop and contribute to things like the Chamber and the Golden Apple Award. We're involved with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I had the opportunity to be a Big Brother, Big Sister we look for every opportunity to continue to contribute back where we can. So, for my friends from Table 6, I would like to welcome ladies first, Ms. Claire Thorpe from Island Montessori, and Mr. Adrian Jones, if you could join me up on stage. And Mr. Adrian Jones. Mr. Jones was also my principal name. If you could too, please join me up here. I've had a pleasure speaking with them this evening. It's been great. You forgot your award.
A career in the field of education was certainly not on the radar when I started. But when I got into the classroom and started teaching those kids, it really was different. When I realized that I could be making such a big impact on the lives of the kids that was in front of me, and here were students coming to me asking for direction, and I had the opportunity to teach them things actually and show them how things are done. That became something that I wanted to do. I became proud of just seeing the little steps that a child would make from today not knowing and tomorrow being confident and successful in what they're doing. And so that was my motivation to actually stay in it. That was some 30 odd years ago. And so the rest, I suppose you could say, is really history. It has continued over the years to be a very fantastic experience for me. Even though I've moved out of the classroom and moved into leadership and management within the school, all that has happened is that now I can do that on a wider scale and impact kids' lives even more so, and that's what I want to continue to do.
I grew up in England. I'm the oldest of 5 children, so typically I did look after my younger siblings, and from a very early age I really enjoyed teaching them. I was 13 years older than my 2 younger siblings, so I had quite a role in their education when they were little, and that's probably how my love for working with little ones started. We're honoured to be able to make impacts in children's lives. If you're a good teacher, you can make a lifelong impact. So there isn't really a more important profession, I believe. It touches every single job that there is in the world. You can make a difference to a child's confidence, their happiness, their well-being, their future. So it's everything. And I don't believe that you choose really to become a teacher. I think teaching chooses you. Most good teachers that I know, they don't even have to think about what they're doing. It's them. It's in everything they do. It's everywhere they are with everyone.
So I just received this from PwC as the 2015 Economic Peer Report. The winner, principal in a public or private school, Adrian Jones, Lehman East Scott High School.
To say that I'm speechless would simply be an understatement tonight. It's really an honor for me to be recommended, first of all, that there's somebody out there who thought that the simple things that I did as a teacher and principal was deserving of this extraordinary award. I stand here receiving this award on behalf not just of myself, but of all the people who have helped me along the way, of all the individuals who have been there and the groups of people who have been there with me. They are all deserving of being on the stage just as I am tonight. So I accept this award, first of all, on behalf of my family, my wife who's here with me, and my two sons who are both away at college. They have put up with a lot where I'm concerned. They have been very patient and supportive and understanding, and so I accept this award on their behalf. I accept this award also on behalf of the wonderful group of people that I've had the privilege of working with, some of them for over 2 decades now, at the Lane Muscott High School. I tell people all the time that that's the greatest group of individuals that anybody could work with, and I am thankful for their help and assistance and all that they have done. They are truly amazing, and I thank them. I accept this award on behalf of all the teachers and leaders and principals who are blazing a trail to ensure that every child within our schools reach their full potential. I do accept this award on their behalf. And in particular, I would like to say that Ms. Clear, I'm not sure what tipped the scale in my direction, but I'm sure that you are definitely as deserving as I am to receive this award. But I have to say big thanks to God Almighty. The truth is that every time I've asked or needed, He has provided. Every time I've lacked direction, He has led. And every time I've needed wisdom, He has supplied it. And to God, I thank Him, and I thank you.
Congratulations to Adrian Jones, the winner of the Principal in the Public or Private School Award. Big round of support to our principals tonight, and once again to all our winners.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations to all. We're now down to our final award of the evening.
The final educator will recognize tonight is the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award.
And we're also pleased to update that this recipient will also receive a 7-day cruise, courtesy of Royal Caribbean.
I can't remember exactly where it started. Both my parents are teachers. My maternal grandfather is a teacher too. And so I think it's like in my blood, in my DNA. I have 7 younger siblings. When I think back now, I think I was always teaching them something. And I remember early at high school in Jamaica, a teacher had asked a question and I answered. And she said, "Are you going to become a teacher?" So I think maybe the seed that had been planted some time ago just, took off then. And I don't remember ever wanting to do anything else. Sometimes you're trying to teach some of them something and they find it hard. But, because you had instilled in them, you never give up, you do your best, and it will become easier. And when it becomes easy, I said, "Didn't I tell you? I told you so." And, things that they didn't think that they could do, you help them to accomplish that. And then, everybody's so excited, you're celebrating. Teaching, there are going to be moments when you're frustrated or, there are going to be obstacles, but your whole aim or goal is to develop students with lifelong characteristics or whatever that they're going to take, into adulthood, and you have to be creative, to get the best out of them, for example. So much joy when you move them from like 0.0 in the knowledge and then you take them up to like 10. It's like, especially when suddenly some of them just realize what it is you want them to do. It's like a eureka moment, It is so rewarding. So much joy in accomplishing, and sometimes you lie in your bed and you're going over all the things that you managed to get them to do. It's lots of hard work, and especially for me as a PE teacher in Cayman, we work in the sun. But when you see your students transform from not knowing anything, then it's so rewarding.
To present this award, please welcome again the Honorable Minister Juliana O'Connor-Connolly.
Hi again. Those of you that know me know that I don't like to read speeches, so will you put me on the spot tonight? It is indeed my privilege to present the Lifetime Achievement Award this evening. The Lifetime Achievement Award is given in recognition, memory, and honor for multiple contributions and a lifetime of dedicated services to education. It is a very special award meant to recognize an educator who has devoted their career to helping others and has championed many extracurricular activities along the way. This year's recipient, Mrs. Marjorie Scott, has exceeded qualifications in every which way. Her life has been a complete demonstration of helping others no matter the cost. During her time at the Red Bay Primary, Marjorie was instrumental in the development of physical education programs which successfully achieved excellence for the school across multiple sporting disciplines. Mrs. Scott then brought her expertise to Prospect Primary, Savannah Primary, and John A. Cumber Primary, where she continued her focus on the development of a robust physical education program. Having played such an instrumental role in training and development many of her students who went on to represent Cayman on the global stage, I am privileged to honor her here on stage tonight. Mrs. Scott, I'm also pleased to inform you, as you heard before, that one of our sponsors for tonight's event, Royal Caribbean, will also be honoring you with a 7-night cruise. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding in welcoming the 2019 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient to Mrs. Marjorie Scott.
The first thing that I'm going to say, I'm going to borrow a Jamaican phrase and say, "Thank you, Papa Jesus." And that in English means, "Thank you, God." Having said that, I would like to thank the person or persons responsible for nominating me. It just blows my mind to think that someone thought so highly of me to recommend me for this Lifetime Achievement Award. So I am so happy, excited, probably you can tell. And let's see what I'm going to say now. Before I got here, I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to be a little bit nervous. But when I got here, I saw all these people that I know, students, and my immediate family is here, my son Shamari, my daughter Mikana, my husband Tony, my family in Jamaica is here with me in spirit, my church sisters are here too, my past students and university past students colleagues, and last but not least, my Prospect family.
I didn't understand how this after thing worked. And I thought I would be sitting there and a name would be called and it would not be my name. And I was going to do one of two things. I would be like Kanye West at the and I'd be running up here and grabbing the mic and interrupting. Or I would have been like Marvin Gaye when he said every year, you know, he was at the Grammys, and his name would be called, and he wouldn't get, and one year was certainly to snatch it. So I thought my daughter would be very embarrassed if I did anything like that. So I'm so happy that I didn't have to. My husband is a professional speaker, he speaks all the time. And my son is also a professional, he speaks all the time too. And maybe my daughter too. So I'm the one who is the shy one. And so, I thought it would look cool and fresh, not to have a speech to read from. And my daughter said, "You sure don't want to type up something?" And I said, "No, I've got this, I've got it." I just made the notes on my paper, so occasionally I'll have to look, so you'll bear with me. So the first thing I really want to say is that when I heard again that I was nominated, and some people have a million and one outfits in their closet, but I just had one. But it didn't fit too right. Things were hanging there and hanging there. And I said, I could have done something like this. So I heard at the beginning of September, so I had 1 month. So I went on this exercise regime. I was doing 5 miles each night for 7 days. So I jogged and I walked. And sometimes I didn't want to go. But when I thought of the one outfit that I had, it was some nights I felt like I was dying. And long ago we had a little doggy, and I thought he was my first grandson, and his name was Oreo. And my daughter Mikana took him on a long walk one evening from our home in North Cayman Palms up to her grandma in Northwood. And when he got to some distance after walking for a long time, he was so tired, he went something like this. So there were many nights when I went. There was one night I met a man on the trail and he said, "Are you training for the Olympics?" like Tiffany Haddish, I said, "Yes!" And I said, "I am going to be ready for whatever they need me to do." And so I'm so happy tonight that this is the outfit I have. So I'm so glad tonight. So the first important thing I have to say is that I am so overwhelmed and honored shortlisted? And I said, shortlisted? I just thought I would just come here and a name would be called. And I said, if there's a shortlist and I'm not on it, I'm not going. And I text Shamari and I said, Shamari, is there a shortlist? Because if it's so and I'm not, I am not going. So then he didn't tell me anything, and then I'm Spanish, so every evening I have a siesta. So one evening I woke from my siesta and I missed the call. And I thought it was somebody from pensions calling me. And I didn't recognize the number, and I returned the call, and the person said, this is Will, hey you. And I didn't have time to think what he could have been telling me, because I thought, okay, so I didn't make the short list, or I am going to be shortlisted one of two. And then somewhere along I realized he was saying something like, you are the winner. But I couldn't believe it. So when I said, are you sure? And he said, yes. So I said, can I scream? And he said, yes. So I screamed. So I'm very happy to be here and to be honored. And I realized I'm joining an elite group. And in this elite group, some of them are my very good friends. One of the first recipients was Mrs. Smith. She's not here tonight. But another person, Mrs. Joy Bromfield, my very good friend, and she is in the audience tonight. And my former principal, Mrs. Bell, is also here. So this is like, you know, the icing on the cake. You never thought after you started a journey for 42 years that at the end there's going to be this Golden Apple Award. So I'm like, I think sometimes on cloud 9 or 10 or 11, and I never want to come down. And I see that I've reached the part where I talk about this journey that I've been on for 42 years, which started in Jamaica. I did 2 years in Jamaica, and then I came here, and so I've done 40 years here. And I know I would have lasted so long because everybody who knows me knows from I was a student that I cannot wake up in the mornings. So some mornings I would say to my husband, do I have to go today? And he would say yes. And I would say, can I stay home? And he would say no. So I went out to work. And I taught until the early 2000s. I was at Red Bay Primary School, and the deputy principal there was Mr. Michael Walker, and he saw some treasure, maybe very deep within me, that I would be good as a PE teacher, and he recommended me to be a PE teacher, and I'm so happy and grateful to Mr. Michael Walker, the deputy principal at the time of Red Bay Primary. And so, I went out to work then with pep in my step, because this seemed to have been the thing that I just was waiting for. And so as a PE teacher at Red Bay for many, many years, I was very successful, maybe you could say. We won many cups, whether it was inter-primary or netball or basketball. And so I am so happy that I was able to accomplish all that. And so I have some people to thank for my being on the journey with me. So I'm just going to glance at my paper now to see if I'm not missing anything that I should say. Okay. Yes, so having that, Mr. Michael Walker, and for doing all those successful things. I came to realize that, no man is an island, and along my journey, I built up a village. And in my village, there were many coaches and teachers and parents. But first, in my village is my immediate family. My husband Tony, who knows a lot about sports, so whenever I had any questions I would ask him and he would have the answer. And my son Shamari and my daughter Vikana that I dragged whenever I needed them to coach like basketball at Red Bay, they were there. And one of the memorable things that I remember is that we had a basketball competition when I was at Red Bay. And Shamari was the coach, and he had the nerve to go. He was with the Department of Tourism, I think, and he had to fly somewhere. And I thought, oh dear Lord, we're going to lose the cup. And you know, I would sleep and dream about that all night. We're going to lose the cup tomorrow, we're going to lose the cup. And he said, don't worry, I have told Mikana, we call her Mickey, he has told her what to do when they were playing. And I was happy to say that I didn't have any need to be afraid because we did win the cup. So I'm very happy and thankful to my immediate family, my husband, my son Shamar, and my daughter Mikana. Next in my village are the coaches who helped me. And the very first coach I had at Red Bay with me was Coach Jerry Harper. So there was a parent, Donnie Anglin, he worked with me also. There was Mrs. Badley Ashley. She was a classroom teacher, but she came out, she helped me with netball. And Mrs. Jane Kelly, who was a teacher at the high school, she helped me at Red Bay. When I was transferred to John A. Comber, I marched her down there with me. We used to go down there on a Saturday to do training, and she was there. And Mrs. Laverne Evans would help me with netball there also. Some other villagers along my journey are at, yes, Mrs. Kelly went with me from Red Bay to John A. Comber to Savannah, so I was very happy for that. At Prospect Primary, I had the pleasure of working with Coach Tyrone Yen from Mustang. There was also Coach Williams from the sports department. There was Coach, I call him Coach Frank, but he's Frank Cornwall. I think he's the Premier's personal assistant. He helped me with high jump. And there was a parent called Renard Powell. And the last person who helped me was Mrs. Cox. Last but not least. So I want to thank Mrs. Cox because she was a parent for 3 years, and for the past 5 years, she was an ex-parent. And she was, whenever I needed her, if I needed her in the evening, she was there. If I was going to the complex on a public holiday, she was there. When my inter-primary team won and we made a victorious trip to the BRAC, she was there. So she has been my right hand and my left, and I'm very happy to share my award with my villagers and Mrs. Cox too. So I just have one memorable moment that I want to share, and it's when I call him my son Hussein. He came here for the track meet, and so all the athletes got to meet him, and we went to Commander Bay. And he didn't know it, but he used to call me in the nights and he used to give me all these quotes that I used to tell athletes, and they actually thought that he was speaking to me in the nights, and I would tell them things like, Hussein said to tell you, keep your eye on the prize. If you say you can't, you won't. If you say you can, you will. The difference between the possible and the impossible lies in the determination. So I was well versed on all the Usain quotes. And so when Usain came and we got the chance to go and take a picture with him, he would be on stage and the group of athletes would come up to take a picture with him. So when it wasn't your turn, you had to wait. So it was Prospect's turn, and we were waiting right down at the end of the podium. And I right at the top, and I said, when it's time to go, none of these athletes are going to beat me up there. I am going to be the first one beside him. And when they said prospects turn, and I ran up here, and you said my son had the nerve to look at me and said, that's not fair. But anyway, since he's my son, you know, I forgive him. So, I think the only thing left for me to do now is to thank everybody who has played a part in my success. And I would like to thank my immediate family, my husband Tony, my son Shabari, his wife, my daughter Mikana. I would like to thank all the coaches. Oh, and I can't forget to thank Mr. Roach. He was the very first PE teacher I worked with. And Mr. Roach knew that anytime he came to track and field, he'd be hearing from me every night. I'd be calling him to ask him something. But, you know, he did put up with me. So I am sharing my award with all of my villagers, my friends, family, coaches, PE colleagues, teachers, past students who are here, my friends, my past students too. And I don't want to forget to thank my PE friend who could not be here tonight, Miss Carrie Ann Jones, because she helped me to put my package together when I heard that I needed a package. And I told her, she said, where are your pictures? I said, I don't have any pictures. She said, yes, you have. So I'm happy that she came and she helped me 2 days and I put my package together. And so my Golden Apple Award is for all of my villagers. Thank you, my country.
And another round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our awards ceremony for this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure to be your MC tonight.
Thank you for having us both tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Will Pinner will now give us his closing remarks. Thank you.
I don't know what to say. I think everything has been said. Wow, what an evening. Thank you very much. So again, thank you on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and the Ministry of Education as we recognize some of our, really the most important people in the profession, our teachers in our community. Please put your hands together for our teachers. You don't get enough of this. So that you know, one of the reasons why we've held it on today in particular, I'll give you a little bit of history, is that on the 5th of October since 1994, World Teachers Day commemorates the anniversary of the adoption of the 1966 International Labour Organization and UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of teachers. This recommendation sets benchmarks regarding the rights and responsibilities of teachers and the standards for their initial preparation for further education, recruitment, employment, teaching, and learning conditions. So around the world right now, teachers are being honored in different celebrations and activities to recognize the important role that you all play. So the Chamber of Commerce introduced this Golden Apples Awards in 2007 to raise awareness of the importance of this profession and to recognize these educators who have made a difference in the lives of their students and schools. Since 2007, we've recognized more than 30 outstanding public and private sector teachers and principals and have been recognized in the different categories. So tonight, we've added to that distinguished list. So on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Department of Education, our public and private schools, and that have supported this Golden Apple Awards, the Chamber would just like to say thank you. We'd also like to thank the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Conley for your ministry's support of this awards program over many years. It's obvious to us that your drive to raise the educational standards for all in our public and private schools is exemplary. Thank you. It's also the ongoing support of our members in our business community that make it possible to be able to recognize our teachers here tonight. Without their support, obviously some of this wouldn't be possible. So I'd like to thank our many corporate sponsors and members. Obviously they're listed in your program, so I will go through some of them just to have it publicly recognized. Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, Tower, Equilibrium Group, DART, CUC, Health City Cayman Islands, Office Supply, GT Automotive. Well done. There's somebody here from your company. Kensington, Van Motors, Foster's, and Chatterbox. Give them all a round of applause, please. And then I'd also like to thank the companies that obviously sponsored tables this evening. We're actually, hopefully, when we continue this program, we're going to get companies to sponsor more tables for our teachers so that more of you can come on out and support this awards program. I'd like to specifically thank Davenport Development and Kirk Freeport, as well as Maples and some other companies that have actually sponsored tables as well. Some of the other companies I mentioned earlier also were table sponsors. So again, in closing, to our finalists, congratulations. As it said earlier, every one of you make a difference in the lives of our students. So awards are certainly important and we recognize those. But again, every teacher that makes a difference in the lives of our students matters. So again, thank you for what you do and making a difference in our community. So I'd also like to specifically thank Tower Marketing. Put your hands together for Grace and Lydia and Len. They did an outstanding job putting on this show. Obviously, I wouldn't be anything without Carrie in my office and Alex and Vanessa. And again, just like to say thank you for everyone who's involved, and also thank you for Equilibrium, a design company that put all of these beautiful things together for us. So have a good evening, celebrate, don't party too hard, and Mrs. Scott, there's going to be 2 people on that cruise ship. I know you're going to have a good time. Good night.